Take a slow, deep breath. And as you let it out, feel the space around you become very quiet and very still. Imagine that the walls of your room are fading away, replaced by a vast, infinite horizon where there is no wind, no sound, and no light dot in the beginning. Long before the earth was shaped or the stars were placed in their paths, there was only the Ginnungagap. It was a great, yawning void, an emptiness that stretched on forever in every direction. It was not a place of darkness or cold, nor a place of light or heat. It was simply stillness. It was a space of pure, undisturbed silence, waiting for the first breath of existence to stir the air. To the far north of this void lay Niflheim, a world of mist and shadow. It was a realm of silver and blue, where the air was thick with the scent of frozen water. In the very heart of Niflheim sat a well called Yggdrasil, an ancient source of all the waters of the world. From this well, 11 rivers began to flow, creeping slowly out into the emptiness of the void. These rivers did not move with the rush of a mountain stream. They moved with the slow, heavy patience of a glacier. As the water traveled further from the well, the biting cold of the north began to take hold. The surface of the rivers turned to slush, then to thick heavy ice, and finally into towering mountains of rime frost that piled up within the void. Imagine the texture of that ice. It is smooth and cold, glowing with a soft, pale light from within. Layer upon layer of frost grew in the silence, filling the northern side of the Ginnungagap with a landscape of white and gray. There was no sound here but the faint, occasional crack of the frost settling deeper into itself. Far to the south, the universe was very different. There lay Muspelheim, the land of fire and glowing embers. This was a realm of soft radiance and steady, pulsing warmth. It was not a place of flickering flames or smoke, but a world that hummed with a gentle, golden heat. The air in the south was light and shimmering. Tiny sparks, like the glowing dust of a sunbeam, drifted lazily through the atmosphere. They floated like small, golden lanterns, moving in long, slow arcs through the darkness. The heat was constant and comforting, radiating outward and softening the edges of the great void for ages beyond counting. These two worlds existed at the edges of the universe. The cold moved south, and the warmth moved north, and in the center, in the heart of the Ginnungagap, the two finally met, where the breath of the heat touched the skin of the frost. A change began to happen. The ice did not shatter or break. Instead, it began to soften. The frozen rivers began to weep, drop by slow, rhythmic drop. The ice turned to water once more. Imagine the sound of those first drops hitting the frozen ground below, a soft, hollow chime that echoed through the silence. As the drops fell, they gathered together in the warm, swirling mist. Within these melting drops, a spark of life began to stir. From the thaw of the ancient ice, the first being emerged. This was Ymir. Ymir was a being of immense size, but he moved with a slowness that matched the universe around him. He was formed of the mist and the frost, and his skin was the color of a winter sky. As soon as he was formed, Ymir did not seek to build or to change anything. He simply lay down in the center of the void, closed his eyes, and fell into a long, quiet state of being. As he rested, his breath moved in and out in a slow, steady rhythm. His heartbeat was the first sound of time passing, a low, resonant thrum that vibrated through the ice and the air. The warmth from the south and the cold from the north kept him in a perfect state of balance. He was neither too hot nor too cold. He was simply existing, a mountain of ice and spirit resting in the cradle of the beginning. As the ice continued to melt, another life began to take shape from the drops. This was Audhumla, the great cosmic cow. She was a creature of absolute peace, with eyes as deep and dark as the void itself. She stood quietly in the mist, her breathing heavy and regular, a sound like the distant rolling of waves on a calm shore. From Audhumla flowed for great rivers of white milk, moving across the floor of the Ginnungagap like ribbons of silk. These rivers provided all the nourishment Ymir needed as he rested. There was no struggle for survival. There was only the effortless flow of life from one being to another to sustain herself. Audhumla found nourishment in the salty frost-covered stones that surrounded her. She would reach out with her long, rough tongue and lick the salt from the ice. Her movements were slow and methodical. She would lick a stone for hours, her tongue moving back and forth in a soothing, repetitive motion. On the first day, as she licked the stones, the hair of a man began to appear through the ice. On the second day, she uncovered a head, and by the third day, she had freed an entire being. This was Buri. He was tall and strong, yet he possessed the same stillness that defined the early cosmos. He stood in the mist, watching the sparks of the south and the frost of the north, a silent witness to the dawn of the world. During this time, there was no sun to mark the passage of days. There was no moon to pull the tides. There was only the long, unchanging twilight. The colors of the world were the colors of a quiet evening: indigo, silver, gold, and deep charcoal. The air was heavy and still, carrying the scent of clean snow and warm earth. Everything in the universe was content to wait. The mountains of ice didn't need to melt quickly. The sparks of fire didn't need to burn brightly. Everything moved at the pace of a deep, slow breath. You can imagine yourself there, standing in the center of that great, quiet gap. The ground beneath you is firm and cool. The air around you is soft and damp with the mist of creation. You can hear the rhythmic licking of Audhumla against the salt blocks, the distant, low hum of the southern fires, and the steady, calm breathing of Ymir. The universe was a place of perfect rest. There were no storms. There were no voices. There was only the slow unfolding of life from the silence. The mist swirls around your feet, white and thick, hiding the edges of the world. It feels light and cool against your skin. As you stand in the center of the Ginnungagap, you feel the weight of the eons pressing down on you in a way that is comforting and heavy. You are part of this ancient stillness. You are part of the ice and the fire and the quiet breath of the first giant. The rhythm of the beginning is a slow one. It is a rhythm that invites you to let go of the seconds and the minutes. It is a rhythm that asks you to simply be, like the frost on the stones or the sparks in the air. The great cow continues her work, her tongue moving slowly, over and back. The rivers of milk flow silently across the dark ground. The ice continues to weep its gentle, rhythmic drops. Every part of the universe is in balance. The cold of Niflheim and the heat of Muspelheim have found their center, and in that center, there is only peace. The mist grows thicker now, wrapping everything in a soft, protective layer. The silver light of the north and the golden glow of the south blend together into a single, muted radiance that feels like the closing of eyes at the end of a very long journey. The silence of the void is not empty. It is full of the potential for everything that is to come. But for now, it is enough for it to remain still. It is enough for the world to be a place of quiet breathing and slow melting ice. The eons pass like shadows on the wall. The universe remains in its state of rest, undisturbed and calm. Feel the heaviness of that ancient time. Let it settle over your limbs, making them feel like the deep, unmoving glaciers of the north. Let the warmth of the southern sparks settle over your chest, steady and soft. The story of the beginning is a story of waiting. It is a story of the peace that exists before the world truly wakes up. Everything is as it should be. The void is quiet. The mist is soft. The rhythm is slow. As the eons stretched and the mist of Ginnungagap continued its slow, swirling dance, a new rhythm began to emerge. The first gods, the descendants of Buri, moved through the silence with a grace that was as steady as the turning of a tide. They looked upon the vast, sleeping form of Ymir and the endless, unshaped void, and with a gentleness that only the first beings could possess. They began the work of crafting the world we know. There was no sound of hammers, no roar of creation, only a quiet, deliberate unfolding. They took the elements of the first giant and began to lay the foundations of the earth. From his skin, they crafted the deep, rolling valleys and the high, silent plateaus of the land. The earth they made was rich and dark, smelling of rain and ancient soil. They took his heavy bones and placed them with care, forming the great mountains that reach up to touch the hem of the sky. The silent peaks where the snow never melts and the wind whispers in a language of its own. The blood of the giant became the vast, deep oceans. Imagine the water flowing out from the center of the world, filling the hollows and the basins until the earth was cradled by the sea. These waters are not restless. They move with a slow, rhythmic pulse, the tides breathing in and out against the shore like a sleeper's breath. The deep blues and emerald greens of the ocean depths reflect the stillness of the void that came before, above the earth. The gods set the skull of Ymir to be the sky. It is a vast, protective dome, painted in the softest shades of twilight. To bring light to this new world, they reached toward the southern realm of Mus. They gathered the glowing sparks that drifted in the heat and tossed them high into the air. These sparks became the stars, thousands of tiny, fixed lights that watch over the world with a steady, unblinking glow. They do not flicker. They simply shine, casting a silver light over the new-made world. In the center of all this creation, a great and living presence began to grow. This is Yggdrasil, the world tree. It is an ash tree of such immense size that its branches reach over every horizon, and its roots delve into the deepest mysteries of the universe. Yggdrasil is not a static thing. It is a breathing, pulsing heart. If you listen closely in the silence of the night, you can almost hear the sap moving through its heavy trunk, a slow, liquid sound, like a deep river flowing uphill. Its leaves are forever green, shimmering with a faint, iridescent dew that falls to the earth as honey. The tree holds all things in its embrace, providing a sense of weight and belonging to every corner of the cosmos, along the branches and beneath the roots of this great tree. The 9 worlds began to settle into their places, each one a quiet island in the sea of space. High among the highest branches, bathed in a golden, eternal light, is Asgard. It is a place of high halls and silver spires, where the air is always clear and still. There is no rush in Asgard. The gods move through its gardens with the ease of those who have all of time at their disposal. The light there is warm and constant, like the sun on a late summer afternoon. Nearby lies the home of the Vanir. This is a world of lush forests, slow-moving rivers, and fields of wild, fragrant flowers. The air here is heavy with the scent of pine and damp earth. It is a realm of growth and healing, where the pulse of nature beats with a soft, steady THRUM. In the sun-drenched spaces between the leaves sits Alpha, the land of the light elves. It is a world made of light and air, where everything feels weightless and translucent. The trees are made of silver glass, and the ground is covered in a carpet of white blossoms that glow with their own inner radiance. It is a place of perfect, airy peace. Down toward the center of the tree, surrounded by the great ocean, lies Midgard, the world of humanity. It is protected by a high fence made from the giant's eyelashes, keeping the chaos of the outer void at bay. In Midgard, the seasons turn with a slow, predictable grace. You can feel the coolness of the autumn wind and the warmth of a winter fire. It is a world of balance, a middle ground where the light and the shadow meet in harmony. On the rocky edges of the world, where the mountains are tallest and the shadows are deepest, lies Jotunheim. This is the home of the giant Sal, land of iron-gray stone and towering glaciers. It is a silent, frozen world where the only sound is the slow groan of the ice as it shifts against the mountainside. It is a place of ancient, heavy wisdom. Beneath the earth, in the winding caverns and deep stone halls, this is the realm of the dwarves, where the air is cool and smells of iron and salt. It is a world of shadows, but they are soft shadows, lit by the glow of underground crystals and the steady warmth of deep earth fires. Lower still, we find the realms we knew at the very beginning. Niflheim, the land of mist, remains a place of silver silence and frozen rivers. Muspelheim remains the realm of glowing heat and dancing sparks, the hearth of the universe. And finally, tucked beneath the deepest root of Yggdrasil, lies hell. Do not think of it as a place of sorrow, but as a place of absolute rest. It is a quiet, misty realm where those who are tired from the journey of life go to find a sleep that is long and undisturbed. It is a land of soft gray meadows and still waters, where the wind never blows and the light never wavers. All these worlds are connected by the great tree. The tree is the anchor. It feels the vibration of the stars and the movement of the deep waters. Its roots drink from the wells of wisdom and memory, drawing up the peace of the earth and spreading it through its branches. As you think of these 9 worlds, imagine them all resting in the arms of the tree. They are not spinning or rushing through space. They are cradled. Everything is in its right place. The stars are fixed. The oceans are deep. The mountains are firm. Feel the presence of the great tree around you now. Its branches are like a canopy above your head, protecting you, sheltering you. Its roots are deep beneath you, holding you steady and safe. The light of the 9 worlds is fading now into a soft, uniform twilight. The gold of Asgard, the green of Vanaheim, and the silver of Niflheim all blend into a gentle, muted shadow. The air is cool and still. The only sound is the very faint, rhythmic creaking of the world tree as it sways in the silent voida. Sound so low and so slow that it serves only to deepen the quiet. You are drifting now, moving between the branches of the great ash, feeling the weight of the universe as a comforting, heavy blanket. There is no distance to travel, for you are already home in the stillness. The story of the shaping is complete. The world is built. The stars are set. The tree is breathing. And now, there is only the silence, the warmth, and the deep, unchanging peace of the 9 realms. Imagine that the air is cooling, becoming crisp and clear, carrying the scent of ancient pine needles and damp earth. You are standing on a soft, mossy path at the edge of a great forest, where the light of the stars is the only guide. The sky above is a deep, velvety indigo, and the silence is so profound that it feels like a physical presence, wrapping around you like a heavy, warm cloak. In this timeless twilight, a figure appears on the path ahead. He moves with a slow, measured gait, his footsteps making no sound on the soft ground. He wears a long, weathered cloak of the deepest blue, the color of the sea just before a storm, and a wide-brimmed hat that casts a peaceful shadow over his face. He carries a staff of polished wood, which he uses not for defense, but as a companion for his long journey. This is the All-Father, but in this moment, he is simply the wanderer. He is a seeker who has traded the noise of the throne for the wisdom of the wild. He is not in a hurry. He has seen the birth of the mountains and the slowing of the ancient rivers. He knows that the most important truths are not found in the rush of the day, but in the long, quiet hours of contemplation. As he walks, he listens. He listens to the way the wind murmurs through the high branches of the world tree. He listens to the slow, rhythmic cracking of the glaciers in the north. He understands that every stone and every leaf has a story to tell, if only one has the patience to hear it. The wanderer leads us deeper into the heart of the world, down toward the deepest roots of Yggdrasil. The air here is heavy and cool, filled with the scent of ancient water and stone. Here, tucked between the massive, gnarled roots of the ash tree, lies the well of Mimir. The water in this well does not ripple. It is as still as a sheet of black glass, reflecting everything that has ever been and everything that will ever be. Odin stands at the edge of this well for a long, long time. He does not look at his own reflection. Instead, he looks into the depths, seeking the hidden rhythms that govern the cosmos. To drink from this well, to gain the insight that allows one to see beyond the surface of things, a sacrifice must be offered. With a heart full of steady resolve, Odin gives his eye to the water. He does not do this with regret, but with a sense of profound release. He understands that to see the truth of the universe, one must let go of the limited way we see the world with our physical eyes. As he drinks the cool, dark water, a great stillness settles over him. He feels the weight of the eon. He feels the slow growth of the trees and the patient waiting of the stars. The eye he gave to the well remains there, forever watching from the depths, a silent witness to the memory of the world. Now, even when he closes his remaining eye, he sees the golden threads of fate that connect every living thing. He sees the harmony in the silence and the meaning in the dark. The path now leads upward, away from the well and into the high, whispering branches of Yggdrasil. The wind here is different. It is a cosmic wind that carries the breath of the 9 realms. The Allfather seeks a different kind of knowledge, now the knowledge of the runes, the sacred symbols that hold the power of the word and the will. He chooses to hang from a branch of the great tree, suspended between the earth and the sky. He stays there for 9 nights, a long vigil held in the heart of the great silence. During these nights, the world continues its slow rotation. On the first night, he feels the roughness of the bark against his skin, a reminder of the tree's strength. On the second night, the frost begins to settle on his cloak, turning the blue fabric to silver. By the third night, his breathing has synchronized with the swaying of the branches. He does not move. He does not seek comfort. He simply waits. He watches the moon move in its slow arc across the sky. He watches the shadows of the leaves dance on the ground far below. He becomes as still as the wood itself, a part of the tree's own enduring life. On the final night, in the deepest hour of the twilight, the runes reveal themselves to him. They rise from the dust and the shadow, glowing with a soft, pale light. They are the keys to the songs that can heal, the words that can bind, and the secrets of the spirit. He grasps them not with his hands, but with his soul, and in that moment, he becomes the master of the world's hidden language. As the wanderer returns to the ground, 2 shadows drift down from the highest canopy of the tree. They move with a grace that is almost liquid, their black feathers shimmering with a faint, iridescent light. These are Hugin, immune in thought and memory. They land softly on his shoulders, their weight no more than a gentle pressure. Every morning, at the first hint of light, they fly out across the vastness of the cosmos. They do not look for conflict or gold. They fly over the quiet farmsteads of Midgard, where the hearth fires are just beginning to glow. They fly over the silent emerald forests of Vanaheim and the high, lonely peaks of Jotunheim. They watch the way the mist clings to the valleys and the way the rivers find their way to the sea. Now, in the deepening evening, they return to the Alf. They lean close to his ears, their movements slow and affectionate. They whisper what they have seen. They tell him of the patience of the old trees and the quiet dreams of the animals in their burrows. They bring him the essence of the world's day, the small, beautiful moments that most would overlook. Odin listens to them with a peaceful heart. He takes their thoughts and their memories and weaves them into the great tapestry of his wisdom. He is the guardian of the world's story, a silent observer who holds the peace of the realms in his steady gaze. The image of the wanderer begins to fade now, blending into the soft, blue shadows of the night. But the feeling of his presence remains a sense of ancient safety and profound quiet. The world is a vast place, but it is held together by a wisdom that is as deep as the roots of the tree and as high as the stars. Think of the stillness of the Allfather as he sits beneath the branches of Yggdrasil. The ravens have tucked their heads beneath their wings. The runes are etched into the very air around you. The water of Mimir's well is perfectly calm, reflecting the peace of your own mind. You are part of this ancient cycle of observation and rest. Like the wanderer, you have left the noise behind. You have reached the center of the forest, where the air is still and the light is soft. The weight of the day has been given to the well, and in its place, you feel a lightness, a sense of drifting through the silver mist. The branches of the world tree sway gently above you, a slow and rhythmic movement that lulls the universe into a state of grace. Every leaf is a whisper of peace. Every star is a beacon of stillness. You are safe in the shadow of the blue cloak. You are protected by the wisdom of the ages. The story is settling now, the words becoming as soft as the fallen snow. The silence of the void and the warmth of the fire have found their balance within you. There is nothing left to seek and nothing left to do. The great tree holds you. The All-Father watches. The night is long, and the peace is absolute. The air around you is beginning to change. It is no longer the thin, silver air of the high mountains, but something thicker, something more substantial. It carries the scent of damp stone and the deep, rich fragrance of thirsty earth, finally meeting the sky. You are standing in the middle of a vast, open meadow in Midgard, where the grass is tall and emerald green, swaying in a slow, rhythmic dance. Above you, the sky is transitioning from a clear indigo to a soft, heavy charcoal. The clouds are moving in, not as a threat, but as a vast, protective ceiling, shielding the world from the piercing light of the distant stars. In this space of shifting shadows, we feel the presence of a guardian. He is not a figure of chaos, but a force of profound reassurance. This is Thor, the son of the earth, the one who stands between the stillness of the home and the wildness of the unknown. Imagine him as a towering, steady presence, walking along the horizon. He is a man of great weight and substance, his footsteps echoing like a heartbeat within the ground itself. His hair and beard are the color of sunset embers, a deep, warm red that glows with a quiet inner heat. He moves with a deliberate slowness, a protector who knows that his strength is best used to hold the world in balance. As he walks, he pulls behind him a chariot led by two great goats, Tangrisnir and Tangrisnir. They do not gallop. They move with a measured, rhythmic pace, their hooves striking the clouds with a sound that is low and resonant. This is the first sound of the storm, a distant, rolling rumble that you feel in your chest before you hear it with your ears. It is a vibration of safety. It is the sound of the world's foundation being tested and found strong. To the people of Midgard, this low thunder is a lullaby, a signal that the guardian is awake, watching over the fields and the forests while the rest of the world prepares to rest. In his hand, he carries Mjolnir, the great hammer. Tonight, we do not see it as a weapon of war, but as a tool of grounding. It is incredibly heavy, a concentrated piece of the universe's core, forged in the heart of a dying star. When Thor sets the hammer down or lets it rest against his side, its weight anchors the air. It creates a center of gravity around which the wind can circle. Imagine the hammer as a great stone at the bottom of a river, around which the water flows smoothly and predictably. It is the weight that keeps the sky from drifting away and the earth from losing its path. The thunder grows slightly closer now, but it remains a soft, rounded sound. It is like the low growl of a contented animal or the sound of heavy stones being turned over by a gentle tide. There is no sharpness in it, no sudden shocks. It is a steady, pulsing rhythm that fills the emptiness of the void. With every roll of thunder, the tension in the atmosphere is released. The air becomes cooler, more refreshing. You can feel the static of the day being washed away, replaced by a calm, magnetic stillness that settles deep into your muscles. Then, the first drop of rain falls. It is a large, heavy drop, cool and clear, landing softly on a broad leaf. Then another falls, and another, until the air is filled with the silver threads of a summer downpour. This is Thor's gift to the earth. He is the one who calls the moisture from the sea and the mist and brings it to the thirsty soil. The sound of the rain is a constant, white noise, 1,000 tiny fingers tapping against the roof of the world. It is a sound that masks all other noises, creating a private, enclosed space where you can simply exist. Imagine yourself sitting under a sturdy wooden shelter at the edge of the woods. The rain is falling in sheets just a few feet away, creating a shimmering curtain of water. The scent of the earth is overwhelming now, the smell of petrichor, of dust turning to mud, of pine needles being washed clean. It is the smell of life being renewed. Thor stands out in the rain, his great cloak soaked through, his red beard glistening with droplets. He does not mind the wetness. He is part of it. He is the bridge between the fire of the southern realms and the ice of the north. And in the rain, he finds his perfect center. He looks out over the farmer's fields, watching the corn and the wheat drink in the water. He sees the rivers rising, their currents becoming stronger and more purposeful. He is the friend of those who work the land, the one who ensures that the cycle of growth and rest continues without interruption. His strength is a wall of vast, invisible barrier that keeps the world safe from the cold, biting winds of the outer wastes. As long as the thunder rolls and the rain falls, the world is being tended to. As the storm reaches its height, the thunder becomes a continuous, low-frequency hum. It is a sound of immense power, but it is held in check. It is like the purr of a great engine, or the sound of the earth, breathing in its deepest sleep. Thor raises Mjolnir, not to strike, but to catch the stray sparks of the southern fires. He channels the energy of the cosmos down into the ground, charging the earth with vitality, giving the seeds the strength they need to push through the soil in the coming days. The rain begins to slow. The heavy downpour turns into a gentle drizzle, and then into a fine, misty spray. The dark clouds in the sky begin to break apart, revealing patches of a deep, washed-out violet. The thunder recedes, moving back toward the horizon, becoming a faint, distant memory of a sound. Thor pauses in his journey, leaning on his staff, looking back at the world he has just washed clean. The leaves are dripping, each drop catching the faint, returning light of the moon. The air is incredibly pure, so fresh that every breath feels like a cool drink of water. There is a new kind of silence now, the empty silence of the void, but the full, satisfied silence of a world that has been nourished. The birds are quiet in their nests. The animals are still in their burrows. The world is glistening, silver and green, under the watchful gaze of the protector. You can feel the residual warmth of the storm lingering in the air, a soft, humid heat that makes the moss feel like a thick, plush carpet. Thor's chariot moves on, the sound of the goat's hooves becoming fainter and fainter, until it is nothing more than a heartbeat in the distance. He leaves behind a world that is balanced, a world where the fire and the ice have met and created something soft and living. Think of the weight of Thor's hammer one last time. Imagine that weight settling over you, grounding you to the earth, making it impossible for any worry or stray thought to lift you away. You are anchored. You are heavy. You are safe. The guardian has passed by, and he has left the gates of the world secure. The rain has washed away the path behind you, and the path ahead is clean and new. The clouds continue to drift, thinning out until the stars begin to reappear, one by one. They seem brighter now, reflected in the millions of water droplets that cling to the trees and the grass. The universe is a vast, sparkling jewel held in the quiet hands of the gods. The great tree Yggdrasil drinks from the newly fallen water, its roots expanding, its branches growing stronger in the night. The rhythm of the storm has become the rhythm of your own breathing, slow, deep, steady. The low roll of the thunder is now just a hum in the back of your mind, a reminder that strength is always there, watching over you, requiring nothing from you in return. You are a part of Midgard, a part of the earth that Thor loves and protects. You are cradled by the damp earth and the cool air. The world is still. The guardian is near. The storm has passed, and in its wake, there is only peace. As the great world tree holds the 9 realms in its steady, unmoving grip, And as the mountains of the earth stand in their eternal, silent vigil, there is another force at work, a force that is not made of stone or heavy wood. It is a presence that lives in the spaces between things, in the flicker of a shadow across a wall, or the way the surface of a pond ripples when a single leaf touches the water. This is the essence of Loki in the stories told around the fires of Midgard. Many speak of him with a mixture of wonder and caution, but tonight, we see him differently. We see him not as a bringer of chaos, but as the symbol of movement in a universe that might otherwise become too still. He is the breath that stirs the stagnant air. He is the current that prevents the river from freezing solid. He is the principle of change, the understanding that for life to exist, things must transform. Imagine yourself sitting by a quiet hearth. The logs have burned down to a soft, glowing orange. The heat is steady, but every now and then, a small spark jumps from the embers. It dances for a brief second in the air. A tiny point of golden light that follows a path no one could predict before vanishing into the darkness. That spark is the spirit of the traveler. It is the unpredictable beauty of a world that is always becoming something new. Loki is the wanderer, who belongs to no single realm. He is part giant, part god, part something else entirely, a being of pure fluidity. He reminds us that nothing in the cosmos is truly fixed. Even the great mountains are slowly being shaped by the wind, and even the deepest oceans are constantly moving, guided by the unseen pull of the moon. To look at Loki is to look at the nature of time itself, a stream that never flows over the same stone twice. Think of the way light changes as the day moves toward evening. It is a slow, imperceptible transformation. At one moment, the forest is bright and green, and in the next, it is bathed in a soft honey-colored glow. A few minutes later, the shadows stretch out, long and blue, reaching across the mossy floor. You cannot point to the exact second when the day becomes the night. You only know that the change is happening, and that it is beautiful. This is where Loki dwells. He lives in the between. He is the twilight, where the sun and the stars share the sky. He is the mist that hides the path, not to lead you astray, but to remind you that there are many ways to reach your destination. He is the uncertainty that makes the journey meaningful. In a world of absolute certainty, there would be no room for wonder. There would be no room for the quiet surprise of a flower blooming in the snow or a sudden breeze on a still afternoon. There is a profound peace in accepting that we do not have to be one thing forever. Loki is the master of shapes, a being who can become the bird in the sky, the salmon in the stream, or the mare in the meadow. This shape-shifting is not a trick. It is a meditation on the interconnectedness of all life. To become the bird is to understand the weightlessness of the air and the vastness of the horizon. To become the fish is to feel the cool, silver embrace of the water and the rhythm of the deep currents. Imagine the feeling of shifting your own form. Feel the heavy weight of your limbs beginning to soften, becoming light and porous. Imagine your breath turning into the wind, carrying you over the treetops of Vena. You are no longer bound by the gravity of a single identity. You are fluid. You are the mist that clings to the mountainside. You are the shadow that moves silently through the tall grass. This transformation is not a loss of self, but an expansion of it. It is the realization that you contain the entire universe within you. You are the fire and the ice, the mountain and the stream. When you embrace the spirit of change, the world stops being a place of obstacles and begins to be a place of infinite possibilities. The uncertainty of the future becomes a soft, welcoming space, like a bed of feathers waiting to catch you. In the halls of the gods, Loki is often the one who brings the unexpected gift. He is the one who goes into the dark places of the earth, into the deep forges of the dwarves, and brings back treasures that no one else could imagine. He does this not through strength, but through a different kind of power, the power of the mind, the power of the word, and the power of seeing what others miss. He understands the alchemy of creation. He knows that to make gold, one must first understand the lead. To find the light, one must be willing to walk through the shadow. He is the bridge between the high towers of Asgard and the deep caverns of He moves between these worlds with a lithe, effortless grace, his cloak of shifting colors blending into whatever environment he finds himself in. As you listen to the story of the traveler, feel your own thoughts beginning to move with that same effortless grace. They don't need to stay on one path. They can drift from the memory of a warm afternoon to the image of a starlit sea. They can shift and change, merging into one another like clouds in a summer sky. There is no need to hold on to any single thought. Let them flow. Let them transform. Let them be as unpredictable and as peaceful as the wind. The movement of the universe is a slow, rhythmic pulse. It is the growth of the world tree, the turning of the stars, and the heartbeat of the earth. Loki is the quickness within that pulse. He is the spark of inspiration that leads to a new song. He is the sudden realization that changes the way we see the stars. He is the reminder that even in the deepest stillness, there is life. Think of a winter forest. At first glance, it seems completely frozen, a world of white and gray where nothing moves. But if you look closer, you see the subtle signs of transformation. Beneath the ice, the water is still flowing. Deep under the snow, the seeds are preparing for the spring. The air itself is alive with the movement of tiny, frozen crystals. Nothing is truly still. Everything is waiting for its next form. Lok is the patron of this waiting. He is the guardian of the potential. He stands at the crossroads of what was and what will be, comfortable in the silence of the unknown. He does not fear the dark or the change, for he knows that they are the parents of the light. He invites us to sit with him in that quiet space, to let go of our need for answers and simply exist in the question. The shadows in your room are shifting now, lengthening as the night deepens. The air is cool and still, but within that stillness, there is a gentle movement. It is the sound of your own breathing, a constant, rhythmic transformation of air into life. It is the slow cooling of the earth outside your window. It is the quiet journey of the moon as it moves through the sky. You are drifting now, moving into the realm of the shifting light. The world of the fixed and the solid is falling away, replaced by a world of soft edges and flowing colors. You are moving into the space where dreams are formed, those fluid, ever-changing stories that your mind tells itself in the dark. In this space, there is no good or evil, no right or wrong. There is only the movement. There is only the flow. You are a part of the great transformation. You are a ripple on the surface of the Ginnungagap, a spark from the fires of Muspelheim, a drop of meltwater from the glaciers of Niflheim. You are all of it, and you are none of it. The traveler is walking beside you now, his footsteps silent on the path of dreams. He does not lead you. He simply walks with you, a companion in the uncertainty. He carries no lantern, for he knows that the heart provides its own light. He speaks no words, for he knows that the silence tells the truest story. The great tree Yggdrasil sways ever so slightly in the cosmic wind. Its leaves rustle with the sound of 1,000 shifting possibilities. Every realm it holds is changing, slowly, beautifully, and perfectly. Asgard is softening in the twilight. Midgard is resting in the shadows. The deep roots are drinking from the well of memory, turning the past into the future. Feel yourself becoming as light as the air, as fluid as the water, as warm as the fading embers. The change is not something that is happening to you. It is what you are. You are the flicker. You are the ripple. You are the breath. The story of the traveler is settling into the quiet corners of your mind. The image of the shifting shadows and the dancing sparks is becoming a part of your own inner landscape. The world is in motion, but it is a motion that brings peace. It is a motion that brings rest. Everything is transforming. Everything is unfolding. Everything is exactly as it should be, in the beautiful, uncertain heart of the beginning. Beyond the high halls of the gods, and the busy roads of the earth. There is a place of such profound quiet that you can hear the heartbeat of the universe itself. It is at the very base of the world tree, Yggdrasil, where the deepest root anchor into the soil of the beginning. Here, sheltered from the winds of the sky and the noise of the worlds, lies the well of Jord. The air here is cool and damp, carrying the scent of ancient stone and the fresh, clean smell of water that has never seen the sun. This is a place of silver mist and soft shadows, where time does not move in a straight line, but swirls like a slow-moving eddy in a deep river. In this sacred silence dwell the Norns' three sisters who watch over the threads of all things. They are the quiet keepers of what was, what is, and what shall be. They are not beings of judgment or fear. They are the gardeners of existence, moving with a grace that is as steady and inevitable as the change of the seasons. Imagine them sitting by the edge of the well, their figures draped in soft garments the color of a winter twilight. Their movements are slow and deliberate, a rhythmic dance of hands and spirit that has continued since the first spark of Muspelheim met the first frost of Niflheim. First, there is Ord. She is the sister of the past, though she does not look backward with regret. She looks upon the ripples in the water of the well, seeing how every action and every moment has traveled through time to reach this very point. To her, the past is not gone. It is the foundation, the deep soil that nourishes the roots of the tree. She watches the way the water settles, understanding that everything that has ever happened is a part of the stillness of now. Beside her is Verdandi, the sister of the present. She is the moment the drop hits the surface of the well. She is the breath you are taking right now. Her eyes are focused on the becoming, the constant, gentle unfolding of the world. She sees the beauty in the briefest of moments, the way a leaf turns in the wind, the way a shadow moves across the grass, the way your own heart beats in its steady, quiet cage. She is the bridge between memory and possibility. And then there is Skuld, the sister of what is yet to be. She is often veiled in a thin, shimmering mist, not because the future is a secret, but because it is a dream that is not yet woken. She looks toward the horizon with a gaze of absolute peace. She knows that just as the river eventually finds the sea, all things will find their way to where they belong. She does not rush the sun to rise, nor the stars to set. She simply waits in the silence for the world to reveal its next secret. Together, the three sisters perform a task that keeps the universe whole. Every day, they take the cool, clear water from the well of Ord and mix it with the white clay that lines the banks. With their hands, they gently spread this mixture over the roots of Yggdrasil. This is why the great tree remains evergreen, even in the heart of winter. The water of fate is a healing thing. It is a nourishment that allows the tree to stand strong against the eons. Imagine the sound of their work. It is the sound of water being poured from a wooden bowl, a soft, liquid splash that echoes against the roots. It is the sound of their hands smoothing the clay, a rhythmic, earthy texture that grounds the spirit. There is no urgency in their movements. They have all the time in the world, and so they give each root and each fiber the attention it deserves. As they work, they weave. They take the threads of life, threads of silver, gold, and deep blue, and they entwine them into a vast, shimmering tapestry. You might think of a thread as something fragile, but when woven together by the Norns, it becomes a fabric of immense strength. This is the web of word, the interconnectedness of all things. Think of your own life as one of these threads. It is not a rope that binds you, but a silken strand that connects you to the stars, to the earth, and to every soul you have ever touched. Your thread is being handled with incredible gentleness. The Norns do not pull or strain. They let the thread find its own path through the pattern. They understand that every life has its own rhythm, its own color, and its own place in the great design. Fate, in the eyes of the Norns, is not a cage. It is a current. Imagine yourself floating on your back in a wide, slow-moving river. The water is warm and supportive, holding you up without any effort on your part. You do not need to paddle. You do not need to fight the direction of the flow. You can simply close your eyes and let the river carry you. You trust the water. You trust the banks to guide you. This is the peace of the Norns. It is the understanding that you are being carried toward exactly where you need to be. The imagery of the Norns is the imagery of the natural world. Think of the way a leaf falls from a tree in autumn. It does not struggle against the air. It does not try to hold on to the branch once its time has come. It lets go with a quiet grace, drifting in slow circles, dancing with the wind until it reaches the soft carpet of the forest floor. There, it rests. It becomes part of the earth, and eventually, it will nourish the very tree it once belonged to. This is the cycle of fate. It is a slow, beautiful circle where nothing is ever truly lost. The seasons follow one another with a predictable, comforting pace. The winter snows prepare the ground for the spring flowers. The summer heat ripens the grain for the autumn harvest. The Norns are the guardians of this rhythm. They ensure that the sun always finds its way back to the dawn, and that the moon always finds its path through the night. As you sit by the roots of the tree in your mind, listen to the whisper of the leaves far above. They are speaking of the eons that have passed and the eons that are yet to come. The sound is like a long, drawn-out sigh, the breath of the universe in its deepest sleep. The mist from the well rises up, cool and soft, brushing against your skin. It smells of stone and moss and ancient deep earth secrets. The sisters are carving runes into the wood of the tree now. Each stroke of the tool is slow and deliberate. These are the laws of existence, not commands to be obeyed, but descriptions of the harmony that holds the worlds together. They carve the rune for peace. They carve the rune for rest. They carve the rune for the eternal return. The wood of the tree accepts these marks with a quiet strength, incorporating them into its bark, making them a part of its life. Everything in this place is steady. There are 2 white swans that live upon the water of the well of Ord. They are the ancestors of all swans, and they move across the dark surface of the well without making a single ripple. Their feathers are so white, they seem to glow in the dim light. They move with an effortless grace, their heads bowed, as if in meditation. They are the symbols of the purity of fate, the idea that beneath all the complexity of the world, there is a core of perfect, unmoving clarity. Feel the presence of the Norns as a comforting weight in the air. They are the reason you can let go of the need to control the future. They are the reason you can release the grip you have on the past. They have the threads in their hands. They are watching the well. They are tending to the tree. You are free to simply be a part of the pattern, a single, beautiful note in a song that has no end. The water of the well is calling to you now, not to submerge you, but to reflect you. Look into the dark depths and see the stars of the 9 realms shining back. See the slow movement of the clouds. See the silhouette of the great tree. You are a part of this reflection. You are as much a part of the universe as the gods of Asgard or the giants of the north. You belong here, in the stillness at the base of the world. The sisters are finishing their work for this moment. Ord leans back, her eyes closed, feeling the weight of the memories. Verdandi rests her hands on the clay, feeling the pulse of the living tree. Skuld gazes into the mist, a faint, peaceful smile on her lips as she sees the beauty of the dreams that are waiting to be born. The light in the cavern of the well is growing softer, turning from silver to a deep, restful charcoal. The sound of the dripping water becomes a slow, hypnotic rhythm. Drop, drop, drop. Each drop is a second of time, falling into the ocean of eternity. It is a sound that lulls the mind, smoothing over the jagged edges of the day, leaving behind only the polished stone of the spirit. You are drifting now, carried by the current of the well's wisdom. The threads of the tapestry are soft against you, like a blanket woven from the clouds. The roots of the tree provide a sturdy, unwavering foundation. The mist wraps around you, a protective veil that hides the world of noise and replaces it with a world of silence. The Norns are watching over you. They have woven your rest into the fabric of the night. They have carved your peace into the bark of the world. There is no need to stay awake to watch the gate, for the keepers of time are at their posts. There is no need to worry about the path, for the river of fate knows the way. The universe is breathing with you, slow, deep, still. The well is quiet. The sisters are silent. The tree is steady. Everything is exactly as it was meant to be. Everything is held in the gentle hands of the Norns. Take a very slow, deep breath, and as you exhale, let the world around you dissolve into a soft, hazy blur. Feel the warmth of your breath, the steady, quiet rhythm of your heart, and the way your body feels so perfectly supported, so completely at rest. We have traveled through the mists of the beginning, witnessed the shaping of the great mountains and seas, and watched the gods walk through their golden halls. But every story, like every day, has its evening. Tonight, we look toward the final chapter of the Norse cycle, not as an ending of fire and noise, but as a beautiful, quiet transformation. This is the story of the great renewal, the moment when the universe takes a long, deep breath and settles into a new, even deeper peace. Imagine the air begins to change. It is no longer the biting cold of Niflheim, but a soft, crystalline chill. This is the beginning of the Fimbulwinter, the great winter. But do not think of it as a hardship. Think of it as the Earth's time to hibernate. The snow begins to fall, not in a blizzard, but in large, heavy flakes that drift lazily through the air like white feathers. They settle on the branches of Yggdrasil, turning the great ash tree into a monument of silver and light. The snow muffles all sound. The rivers slow down, their surfaces turning into smooth, milky glass. The valleys of Midgard are wrapped in a thick white blanket that smooths over every jagged edge and every rough stone. Everything becomes quiet. The birds have gone to their nests. The animals have curled up in their burrows, their breath creating tiny clouds of warmth in the cool air. The world is being tucked in. For 3 long years, the snow continues to fall, layering the world in a silence so profound that you can hear the very stars as they move through the sky. It is a time of waiting, a time for the universe to gather its strength in the stillness. As the old cycle reaches its natural conclusion, the great structures of the past begin to fade. The high walls of Asgard do not crumble. They simply begin to glow with a soft, sunset light, slowly dissolving into the mist from which they were first formed. The gods, having finished their work, do not vanish in battle, but step back into the shadows of memory. Odin, Thor, and the others become like the dreams you have just before waking, vivid, beautiful, and then gently receding into the background of the soul. The sun and the moon, having finished their long journeys across the sky, move toward the horizon for the final time. But as the sun sets, she gives birth to a daughter, even more beautiful and radiant than herself. This new sun waits in the twilight, a soft golden spark ready to light a world that is yet to come. The stars begin to close their eyes, one by one. The sky turns from indigo to a deep, restful charcoal. The great tree, Yggdrasil, sways ever so slowly in the cosmic wind, its roots drinking deep from the wells of memory. The tree is not dying. It is shedding its old leaves to make room for the new. The entire universe is leaning into the dark, not out of fear, but because it is time to rest in the heart of the void, where it all began. There is a moment of perfect, absolute silence. The old world is gone, and the new one has not yet risen. It is the space between 2 breaths. In this silence, 2 humans, Leaf and Yggdrasil, lie, hidden deep within the wood of the world tree. They are not afraid. They are in a state of deep, dreamless sleep, protected by the sturdy bark and the ancient magic of the ash. They are the seeds of the future, resting in the safest cradle in the cosmos. Then, slowly, so slowly that it takes eons to notice, the transformation begins. From the dark, still waters of the ocean, a new earth begins to rise. It does not burst forth. It ascends like a bubble rising to the surface of a calm pond. It is an earth that is fresh, green, and incredibly vibrant. Imagine the color of the new grass, a green, so bright and pure it seems to glow from within. The mountains that rise are smooth and gentle, covered in moss and wildflowers that never fade. The waterfalls return, but their sound is a soft, musical chime, a song of welcome to the new dawn. The daughter of the sun rises into the sky, casting a light that is warm, golden, and infinitely kind. This light touches the dew on the new leaves, turning every drop into a tiny, sparkling diamond. Leaf and Yggdrasil wake from their long sleep. They step out from the heart of the tree and look upon a world that is perfectly balanced. There is no more shadow, no more struggle. The golden game pieces of the gods are found lying in the grass, relics of an older time, now symbols of a new harmony. The new gods, the children of the old, walk through the meadows of Yggdrasil, talking in low, peaceful voices about the wisdom they have inherited. This new world is a place of eternal spring. The air is always at the perfect temperature, a gentle warmth that makes your limbs feel heavy and relaxed. The fields grow without being sown, providing everything that is needed. The rivers are clear as crystal, and the great world tree stands in the center of it all, its branches full of new, shimmering leaves. The rhythm of this new world is the rhythm of peace. It is the sound of the wind through the clover, the sound of the water against the shore, the sound of a universe that has found its center. Everything is connected. Everything is whole. The memory of the old world remains, but it is like a story told by a fireplace, a warm, comforting tradition that gives depth to the present moment. As you listen to the arrival of this new world, feel yourself becoming a part of its stillness. Your body is like the new earth, firm and peaceful. Your breath is like the new sun, warm and steady. Your mind is like the silent waters, reflecting the beauty of the stars. The cycle has come full circle. We are back at the beginning, but with the wisdom of the journey. The Ginnungagap is no longer a void. It is a home. The mist is no longer a mystery. It is a soft blanket. The fire and the ice have found their perfect union in the warmth of your heart. The story is over, and the rest has begun. The mists are closing in again, but they are friendly and familiar. They are inviting you to let go of the last threads of the day. They are inviting you to sink deeper into the softness, to let the weight of the eons carry you down into a state of perfect, undisturbed quiet. The new sun is setting now, leaving the world in a soft, violet glow. The world tree is whispering its final lullaby. Leaf and Yggdrasil have found their place in the meadow, and they are closing their eyes, confident in the safety of the world. You are safe. You are home. The transformation is complete. Let the silence of the new world wrap around you. Let the warmth of the sun's daughter stay with you. Let the peace of the eternal circle be your guide. Take a moment to let the weight of your body sink into the softness beneath you. Imagine that the air around you is perfectly temperate, neither too warm nor too cool, carrying the faint sweet scent of crushed clover and sun-warmed earth. We are stepping away from the iron mountains and the icy voids, moving instead toward a place where the light is always golden and the world breathes with a slow, lush vitality. We are entering the realm of the Vanir, the keepers of the green earth and the quiet rhythms of the heart. In the center of this world stand the twins, Frey and Freya. They are not beings of lightning or stone, but of the living breath that moves through the woods and the golden light that ripples across the wheat fields. They are the guardians of abundance, the masters of the seasons, and the quiet source of all things that grow and flourish. Imagine a vast, rolling meadow that stretches to the horizon under a sky the color of a pale sapphire. This is the domain of Frey. He stands in the tall grass, his presence a steady anchor of peace. He is the lord of the sunshine and the rain, the one who whispers to the seeds beneath the soil and coaxes them to wake. He does not use force. He uses the slow, persistent power of the light. When Frey moves through the fields, he is accompanied by a soft, low hum. This is the glow of Gullinbursti, his golden boar. Do not think of a wild creature, but of a being made of pure, radiant light. The bristles of his coat are like the stalks of ripe grain, and as he moves, he casts a warmth that feels like the sun on your back on a perfect summer afternoon. There is no haste in their movement. They walk through the meadows, and where their shadows pass, the flowers turn their heads and the earth hums in response. Frey represents the concept of Fritha deep, communal peace that goes beyond the absence of conflict. It is the peace of a full harvest, the safety of a warm home, and the satisfaction of a job well done. As you imagine him standing in the golden light, feel that sense of frith settling over you. It is a feeling of having everything you need. It is the realization that the earth is generous, and that there is plenty for everyone. The world is not a place of scarcity, but a place of quiet, endless abundance. High above the fields, where the air is light and clear, moves Freya. She is the sister of the sun, and the mistress of the heart's deep waters. She does not fly with the frantic beat of wings, but with a slow, effortless glide. She wears a cloak made of falcon feathers, but it is as soft as a cloud, and as light as a thought. When she wraps this cloak around her, she becomes a part of the air itself, moving over the world like a gentle breeze. Freya is the keeper of beauty, not the kind that fades, but the kind that resides in the soul of things. She is the depth of the ocean and the height of the stars. When she walks upon the earth, her footsteps are silent, yet the ground seems to glow wherever she has been. She is often seen in a chariot pulled by two large, silver-gray cats. These creatures move with a liquid grace, their paws hitting the ground with a soft, rhythmic padding that sounds like a slow heartbeat. She is the goddess of love, but it is a love that is like the turning of the years, steady, inevitable, and profound. It is the love that the forest has for the rain, and the way the shore welcomes the tide. In her presence, the jagged edges of the world are smoothed away. She carries a necklace called Brisingamen, a circle of gold and amber that glows with the warmth of 1,000 sunsets. It is said that when she is moved by the beauty of the world, her tears turn to amber, falling into the sea to be polished by the waves and returned to the shore as tiny, golden treasures. Think of the color of that amber, their deep, honeyed orange, that holds the light within it. That is the light of Freya's wisdom. It is the understanding that there is beauty in the cycle of life, in the blooming and the fading, and in the quiet spaces in between. She is the strength that allows the heart to remain open, even in the silence. Together, the brother and sister guide the world through its long, slow dance. Imagine the turning of the seasons as a gentle, rotating wheel. It begins with the first stirrings of Frey's spring. The air is cool and moist, and the earth is waking up from its long sleep. You can hear the sound of the snow melting, a soft, musical dripping that feeds the hidden roots. The first green shoots push through the soil, moving with a strength that is quiet and undeniable. This is the season of potential, a time when the world is full of whispers and promises. Then, the year moves into the fullness of Freya's summer. The days are long and warm, and the forests are thick with the scent of pine and wild roses. The wind moves through the leaves with a sound like a long, contented sigh. This is the time of blooming, when everything is at its peak. The bees hum in the clover, and the rivers are slow and clear, reflecting the endless blue of the sky. As the wheel turns further, we reach the harvest. The fields of Frey turn to a brilliant, shimmering gold. The heavy heads of grain bow low, ready to be gathered. The air is crisp and carries the scent of apples and dried wood. This is the season of gratitude, the moment when the earth gives back all the care it has received. There is a sense of completion, a feeling of the world being full and satisfied. And then, the quiet of the winter returns. But under the watch of the Vanir, the winter is not a time of death, but a time of dreaming. The earth rests so that it may grow again. The roots wait in the dark, and the seeds hold on to the memory of the sun. The cycle is perfect. It is unbreakable. It is the steady, reliable pulse of the cosmos. Feel the rhythm of these seasons within your own breath. As you breathe in, imagine the growth of the spring, the expansion of the summer. As you breathe out, feel the release of the harvest, and the deep, restorative rest of the winter. You are a part of this cycle. You are a part of the earth that Frey tends, and the beauty that Freya protects. Imagine yourself lying in the middle of a forest clearing, protected by the high branches of the ancient trees. The ground is a thick carpet of moss, soft and cool. A gentle rain begins to fall, a fine, silver mist that barely disturbs the silence. This is Frey's rain, a nourishing gift that washes the dust from the leaves and feeds the hidden life beneath you. The sound is a constant, low-frequency hum that makes the rest of the world fade away. The silver-gray cats of Freya move through the shadows at the edge of the clearing, their eyes glowing with a soft, kind light. They are the watchers in the dark, the ones who ensure that the peace of the woods is never broken. The falcon cloak of the goddess drifts through the canopy above, filtering the light until it is a soft, muted emerald. You are surrounded by abundance, not the kind that demands your attention, but the kind that sustains you. The forest is full of life that is quiet and still. The sap moves through the trees. The moss drinks the rain. The earth holds the weight of the mountains. Everything is taken care of. There is nothing you need to seek, and nothing you need to provide. The golden boar Golenbursti is resting nearby, his light now a dim, warm amber. It is like the glow of a lantern in a distant window, a signal of safety and home. The radiance settles over your limbs, making them feel heavy and warm. The peace of Frey is a physical weight, a comforting anchor that connects you to the deep, unmoving layers of the earth. The beauty of Freya is a soft veil that rests over your mind. It smooths out the thoughts of the day, turning them into reflections in a still pond. The amber light of her necklace glows behind your eyelids, a steady, unchanging warmth that promises the return of the sun. No matter how long the night may be, the world is turning, slowly and surely. The stars move in their ancient paths. The world tree drinks from the wells, and here, in the realm of the Vanir, the green earth is dreaming. You are drifting into that dream. It is a dream of golden fields and soft rain, of blooming forests and the gentle wind. It is a dream of a world where there is always enough, and where everyone is held in the embrace of the seasons. The silence is growing deeper now, filled with the presence of the guardians. They do not speak, for the wind and the rain speak for them. They do not move, for the growth of the forest is their movement. They are simply there, the eternal brother and the eternal sister. Watching over the heartbeat of the land, you are moving with the grain as it sways in the wind. You are falling with the rain as it touches the moss. You are drifting with the falcon as it glides through the twilight. Everything is in balance. The fields are full. The heart is quiet. The year is turning, and it is carrying you into the stillness of the beginning. There is only the gold, and the green, and the slow, steady breath of the living world. Sleep now, in the peace of the Vanir sleep, in the quiet abundance of the earth. We are leaving behind the rush of the modern day, and stepping into a time that moved with the slow, deliberate pulse of the earth. We are going to a small village in Midgard, nestled between a deep, silent forest and the cold, sparkling embrace of a northern fjord. Here, life is not measured by the ticking of a clock, but by the movement of the sun across the sky and the steady, rhythmic chores that keep the world turning. There is no hurry here. Every action is a meditation. Every moment is a piece of a larger, ancient stillness. Imagine walking through the village at twilight. The air is cool and carries the sharp, clean scent of salt spray and aged pine. The houses are long and low, built from heavy timber and topped with thick, green sod roofs that blend into the hillsides. From the stone chimneys, thin ribbons of blue smoke rise straight up into the still air, carrying the smell of burning birch and roasting grain. As you step inside a longhouse, the first thing you feel is the warmth. It is a deep, heavy heat that wraps around you like a wool blanket. In the center of the room, a long hearth fire stretches down the middle of the earthen floor. The flames are not wild. They are a steady, glowing orange, casting soft, dancing shadows against the carved wooden pillars. The walls are lined with tapestries and shields. But tonight, they are just textures in the dim light. You can hear the low, rhythmic sound of a loom in the corner, the thumbclack of the wooden batten as someone weaves the wool gathered from the sheep on the hillside. It is a soothing, repetitive sound, the heartbeat of the home. In the longhouse, there is a place for everyone. People sit on the benches, their movements slow and relaxed. Someone is carving a piece of driftwood. The small scritch of the knife against the wood, a tiny, comforting detail in the quiet. There is no loud talking, only the occasional murmur of a voice, as soft as the rustle of dry leaves. The evening meal is a shared ritual of gratitude and presence. There is a large wooden bowl of thick porridge, sweetened with wild honey, and a platter of dark, crusty bread. The steam rises in slow curls from the bowls, smelling of earth and harvest. As the meal is shared, there is a sense of deep connection, not just to the people in the room, but to the world outside. Before the first bite is taken, a small portion is set aside near the hearth or by the doorway. This is for the Landvittir, the spirits of the land who live in the stones and the trees around the village. There is a quiet understanding that we are never truly alone. The gods are not distant figures on high thrones, but silent neighbors who watch over the rhythms of the day. When the fire burns brightly, it is a nod to the warmth of the southern realms. When the rain taps on the sod roof, it is a greeting from the protector of the fields. Everything is interconnected. The mundane and the divine flow together like two streams meeting in a calm pool on the summer months. The light lingers long into the night. It is a soft, pearlescent glow that turns the fjord into a sheet of silver. The days are filled with the slow work of the land tending to the gardens, gathering herbs from the forest floor, and watching the cattle graze in the high mountain pastures. Imagine a summer afternoon by the water. The only sound is the gentle lap-lap of the waves against the pebbles and the distant hum of bees in the wildflowers. You can sit on a sun-warmed stone for hours, watching the clouds drift over the peaks of the mountains. There is nothing else you need to do. The sun is warm on your skin, and the air is filled with the scent of blooming clover. In these long, golden days, time seems to stretch out, becoming as vast as the horizon. You can feel the vitality of the earth moving through you, a slow and steady energy that requires no effort. The trees are full and green, their leaves whispering secrets to the wind. The world is in a state of quiet abundance, a gift from the Vanir that is accepted with a simple, silent thanks. As the year turns, the winter nights grow long and deep. This is the time of the great indoor stillness. Outside, the snow falls in heavy, silent drifts, burying the paths and hushing the world. The fjord freezes into a solid, blue-white floor, and the mountains become shadows against the starry sky. But inside the longhouse, the winter is a time of profound comfort. The fire is the sun of the home, its light creating a small, safe universe within the dark. People gather closer to the hearth, wrapped in heavy furs. This is the time for the old stories, not the ones of battles, but the ones of the beginning, told in voices that are low and melodic. The sound of the winter wind outside only makes the warmth inside feel deeper. You can hear the occasional pop of a log in the fire, or the soft breathing of the hound sleeping by the door. The darkness is not something to be feared. It is a time for the spirit to rest, and for the mind to wander through the halls of memory. In the winter, the routine is even slower. There is more time for carving, more time for weaving, and more time for simply sitting in the silence. It is a period of hibernation for the soul, a chance to gather strength for the spring that will eventually come. You are held in the embrace of the winter, safe and warm, while the earth dreams beneath the snow. Think of the repetition of these days, the waking up to the smell of the morning fire, the slow walk to the well for water, the steady work of the hands, the shared meal in the evening. There is a great power in this repetition. It creates a foundation of safety and belonging. You know where you fit in the world. You are a part of the village, a part of the land, and a part of the great cycle of the 9 realms. The stars above are the same stars that watched over your ancestors, and they will watch over those who come after. There is a sense of continuity that is as solid as the roots of Yggdrasil. Everything is balanced. The light and the dark, the work and the rest, the human and the spirit. As you imagine yourself in this world, feel that balance settling into your own body. Your breath is the breath of the longhouse, steady and warm. Your heart is the hearth fire, glowing with a constant, quiet light. The village is settling down for the night. The loom has gone silent. The carvings have been set aside. The last embers are being banked with ash to keep them alive until the morning. The smoke continues its slow climb toward the stars. The world of Midgard is at peace. The fjord is still. The forest is quiet. The mountains are watching. You are drifting now into the deep, silver shadows of the longhouse. The firs are heavy and warm. The air is still. The rhythm of the ancient world is the only thing that remains. Everything is exactly where it should be. The fire is low. The house is quiet. The night is long. Take a long, slow breath, and as you let it go, imagine the borders of the village fading into a soft, green mist. We are moving away from the warmth of the hearth fire and out into the wider world, into the places where the air is ancient and the shadows have their own memories. In the Norse cosmos, the world is not inhabited by humans alone. Every corner of the landscape, the deep caves, the shimmering air, the rushing streams, and the towering peaks has its own pulse, its own spirit. These beings are not monsters or enemies. They are the older neighbors of the earth, living in a rhythm that is slower and more profound than our own. They are the keepers of the silence. We begin where the light is thinnest and most delicate, in the high, airy spaces of Niflheim. Here dwell the light elves. Imagine them not as figures of flesh and bone, but as beings made of the very first light of dawn. They are as light as the down of a swan, moving through the forests like dust motes dancing in a single sunbeam. When you walk through a grove and feel a sudden sense of peace, or when you see the way the dew clings to a spider's web in perfect, silver spheres, you're feeling the presence of the elves. They do not speak in words, but in the rustle of leaves and the way the light filters through the canopy. Their world is one of translucent beauty, where the colors are always soft pale golds, misty whites, and the lightest of greens. To be near them is to feel weightless. Imagine your own thoughts becoming like those light-filled beings, drifting effortlessly through the branches. There is no gravity here, no heaviness of the heart. There is only the soft, continuous glow of a world that has never known a shadow. The elves are the guardians of the air's transparency, ensuring that the sky remains a place of infinite, quiet clarity. Beneath the roots of the trees, deep within the belly of the mountains, the rhythm changes. It becomes deeper, more resonant. This is the realm of the dwarves. Imagine the silence of a deep cavern, a silence that isn't empty, but full of the weight of the stone. The dwarves are the masters of the earth's hidden treasures. They do not work with the frantic energy of the surface world. They move with the patience of the minerals they shape. Imagine a single candle burning in a vast, underground hall. The flame is steady, casting long, soft shadows against walls of polished obsidian and veins of raw silver. In the distance, you can hear a rhythmic sound, a slow, muffled clink, clink, clink. It is the sound of a hammer meeting stone, but it feels more like a heartbeat than work. The dwarves are not just making things. They are listening to the stone, helping it become what it was always meant to be. They understand the language of the mountains. They know the secrets of the iron and the gold, and they treat the metal with the same respect one might give a sleeping elder. The air in these halls is cool and smells of salt and deep, dry earth. It is a place of absolute stability. Nothing here changes quickly. 1,000 years is merely a moment in the life of a stone. As you imagine these deep, quiet halls, feel that same stability settling into your own bones. You are as solid and unmoving as the mountain. You are anchored in the deep, peaceful dark, where the noise of the world above cannot reach. As we move back toward the surface, we find the spirits that live in the familiar places, the landvetter, or land spirits. These are the personalities of the landscape itself. Every stream has a spirit that hums within the flowing water. Every ancient oak tree has a presence that watches from beneath its bark. Imagine a small, clear brook winding through a mossy forest. The water moves over smooth, gray stones, creating a constant, low-frequency music. If you sit by this brook long enough, the sound begins to feel like a voice, a gentle, wordless murmur that tells the story of the mountain the water came from. The spirits of the land are shy and quiet. They are found in the curve of a hill, the smell of the damp moss, and the way the shadows settle in the hollows of the woods. They are the ones who ensure that the balance of the forest is maintained. They are the reason the woods feel awake, even when everything is still. To live in harmony with them is to move softly, to listen more than you speak, and to respect the quiet boundaries of the natural world. They are the guardians of the now, tethered to the specific beauty of a single place. Feel yourself becoming a part of that landscape, as still as the moss, as constant as the stream, as rooted as the old trees. And then, there are the giants. In the stories, they are often seen as towering figures. But in the silence of the night, we see them as the ancient foundations of the world. They are the mountains. They are the glaciers. They are the vast, unshaped forces of nature that existed long before the gods were born. Imagine a range of mountains covered in ancient, blue ice. The giants do not move at a human pace. To them, the passing of an age is like the ticking of a clock. When a mountain settles with a deep, echoing groan, it is merely a giant, shifting in their sleep. They are the personification of the world's endurance. There is a profound comfort in the presence of the giants. They remind us that the world is vast, and that our worries are small and fleeting. They have seen the stars born, and they will see them fade, yet they remain, patient, cold, and magnificent. Their breath is the wind that moves over the high peaks. Their thoughts are the slow, deep movements of the tectonic plates. Imagine yourself standing in the shadow of such a being. You feel small, but you also feel safe, for nothing can shake the foundations of the giants. Their world is a world of gray stone, white snow, and the deep indigo of the Arctic night. It is a place where time has almost stopped. All these beings, the light-filled elves, the steady dwarves, the murmuring land spirits, and the eternal giants, all of them coexist in a vast, silent web. They are the different voices of the same universe, each playing their part in the great, slow symphony of existence. The air is thick with their presence, but it is a presence that brings peace. It is the feeling of being part of a world that is fully alive, even in its deepest rest. The echoes of the hammer in the mountain, the flicker of light in the grove, the murmur of the brook, and the breath of the glacier, all of these sounds blend together into a single, calming vibration. The shadows are growing longer now, stretching out from the caves and the forests to wrap the world in a protective layer of gray and violet. The candlelight in the dwarven halls is dimming to a tiny, golden point. The light elves have faded into the stars. The land spirits have curled up in the roots of the trees. The world is not empty. It is full of quiet friends, each resting in their own way. You are drifting among them now. You are moving through the mist of the giants and the moss of the land spirits. You are as light as the elf, and as grounded as the dwarf. The 9 worlds are settling into a state of absolute equilibrium. The great world tree, Yggdrasil, holds all these spirits in its branches and roots, providing a home for every spark of life. The tree breathes for everyone, it dreams for everyone, and as you drift further into the stillness, you realize that there is no boundary between you and the spirits of the world. You are the mountain, you are the stream, you are the light and the shadow. The story is fading into the ancient silence of the stone. The mists have closed the paths, leaving you in a place of perfect, undisturbed quiet. Everything is steady. Everything is ancient. Everything is at peace. Take a slow, deep breath, and as you release it, feel the world of movement and light begin to recede into the distance. Imagine that you are standing at the edge of a very old, very quiet forest. The sun has already dipped below the horizon, leaving behind a sky of soft violet and deep, restful indigo. There is no wind here, no rustle in the leaves, only the profound, welcoming silence of the evening. Tonight, we are traveling to the final destination of the Norse soul. We are moving toward the places where the journey ends and the long, undisturbed rest begins. In the stories of the North, death is not a cliff or a dark ending, but a crossing over a gentle bridge, a return to the stillness from which all life first emerged. It is the moment the wave finally reaches the shore and becomes one with the sand. The moment the spark returns to the warmth of the hearth, we begin our journey on the Helvegr. The road to hell. Do not think of this as a path of sorrow. Think of it as a long, winding trail through a forest of golden-leaved trees that never drop their foliage. The path is soft underfoot, cushioned by centuries of fallen needles and moss. As you walk, the air becomes cooler and more refreshing, like the air in a stone cellar on a hot summer day. Soon, you reach the river jail. This is the boundary between the world of doing and the world of being. The river is wide and deep, and its waters are as clear as liquid crystal. Over it spans the Jalabru, a bridge thatched with gleaming gold. When you step upon it, the bridge does not shake. It hums with a low, resonant tone, a sound like a distant bell echoing through a valley. This is the bridge's way of acknowledging your arrival, a gentle greeting to the weary traveler. On the other side of the bridge, the mist begins to rise. It is a soft, white fog that smells of clean rain and ancient earth. This is Niflheim, the realm of the goddess Hel. For centuries, this place has been misunderstood, but tonight, we see it as it truly is, a vast, subterranean garden of peace. It is the quietest room in the house of the universe. The goddess Hel stands at the gates of her hall. She is a figure of perfect balance. One half of her face is as fair as a summer flower, and the other is the color of a winter shadow. She does not judge, and she does not turn anyone away. She is the mother of the tired, the guardian of those who have finished their work. She reaches out a hand that is as cool as marble, and leads you into her hall. Inside, Eldjidnur, the ceilings are so high they are lost in the mist. The floors are covered in soft woven rushes that muffle every footstep. There are no bright lights here, only the soft, pulsing glow of bioluminescent moss that clings to the stone pillars. It is a world of monochrome beauty silvers, grays, and deep charcoals. You are shown to a bed draped in heavy, velvet tapestries. The blankets are thick and smell of dried lavender. In this hall, there is no hunger, no thirst, and no pain. There is only the slow, rhythmic dripping of water from a distant stalactite. Drip, drop, drip. It is the only clock in hell, and it marks the passage of eons, as if they were seconds. Here, you can lie down and let the memories of your life drift away like smoke. You are safe. You are hidden. You are at rest in the cradle of the earth. But some souls find their way to other halls, each one a different expression of peace. Imagine a great hall, standing high upon a hill in Asgard. Its roof thatched with golden shields that reflect the soft, eternal light of the stars. This is Valhalla. Forget the stories of clamor and clashing steel. In the true spirit of the afterlife, Valhalla is a place of eternal companionship. Imagine a longhouse filled with the warmth of 1,000 hearth fires. The air is thick with the scent of roasting meat, sweet mead, and aged oak. In Valhalla, the heroes are not those who fought with anger, but those who lived with a whole heart. They sit at long tables of polished wood, their voices a low, comforting hum in the background, like the sound of a distant ocean. There is a sense of profound belonging here. You are surrounded by your ancestors, by the friends of your youth, and by the figures of legend. The light in Valhalla is the golden glow of a perpetual autumn afternoon. It is the light that makes everything feel precious and old. There is no urgency to prove oneself. The battles have all been won. Now, there is only the storytelling. You can sit by the fire for 100 years, listening to the tales of the worlds. Your cup always full, your heart always light. It is the peace of the great gathering, where every soul is recognized and every story is cherished. And then, there is the field of the goddess Freya. If hell is the quiet of the cave, and Valhalla is the warmth of the hearth, Folkvanger is the peace of the open meadow. Imagine a field that stretches on forever, filled with flowers that glow with a soft, inner light. There is no sun here, only a permanent, silver twilight that feels cool against the skin. The grass is tall and soft, moving in long, slow waves as a gentle wind passes over it. Freya moves through this meadow with her silver cats, her falcon cloak trailing behind her like a cloud. In Folkvanger, the souls rest in small groups among the flowers. Some sit by the banks of a slow-moving stream, watching the way the water curls around the stones. Others lie in the tall grass, looking up at the great tree, whose branches are visible even from here, arching over the sky like a canopy of stars. It is a realm of emotional depth and quiet reflection. Here, the wounds of the heart are healed by the fragrance of the blossoms and the soft songs that Freya hums to the wind. It is a place where you can finally understand the beauty of your own journey. There is a sense of lightness here, as if the gravity of the world has been halved. You can drift through the meadow, feeling the silken touch of the petals, knowing that you are in a place of infinite kindness. Whether it is the misty halls of hell, the golden warmth of Valhalla, or the silver meadows of Folkvang, the Norse afterlife is a return to the source. It is the realization that the individual spark is part of a much larger, much older fire. Death is not a departure. It is an arrival. It is the closing of a book that has been read many times, and the beginning of a silence that is rich with meaning. Think of the universe as a great loom. Your life was a single thread being woven into the pattern. Now, the weaving is done. The thread is secure. The pattern is complete. You can feel that completeness now in your own body. Feel the way your breath has slowed, becoming as deep and regular as the breathing of the world tree. The heavy bones of the giant Ymir are the ground beneath you. The skull of the giant is the sky above you. You are held within the structure of the cosmos, a tiny but essential part of the grand design. The mists of Niflheim are rising around you, cool and protective. They hide the stars and the moon, leaving you in a world of soft, gray light. The sound of the river Jail is a distant, soothing murmur, a reminder that the crossing is over and you have reached the other side. The goddess Hel is watching over you with her quiet, dual face. She sees the light of your life and the shadow of your rest, and she finds them both beautiful. She tucks the heavy, lavender-scented blankets around your shoulders, making sure you are warm and safe. The fire in the longhouse of Valhalla is burning low, the embers glowing like rubies in the dark. The stories have all been told, and the travelers are leaning back into the shadows, their eyes closing in the warmth. The meadow of Folkvanger is still. The silver cats have curled up in the grass, and Freya has folded her falcon cloak. Resting her head against the roots of the tree, the 9 worlds are all at rest. The giants are sleeping in the mountains. The dwarves are sleeping in the stone. The elves are sleeping in the light. And you are sleeping in the center of it all. There is no more journeying to be done. There are no more mountains to climb. There are no more storms to weather. Everything is in balance. Everything is still. Everything is peace. The silence of the beginning has returned, but now it is a silence that is full of the echoes of a life well lived. It is a silence that welcomes you home. Drift now, into the soft gray mist, into the golden glow, into the silver grass. The river is quiet. The bridge is still. The hall is warm. Sleep now, in the care of the north. Sleep, in the peace of the eternal rest. Imagine that the boundaries of your room have drifted away, leaving you suspended in a place of perfect equilibrium. You are standing at the very center of the universe, leaning back against the rough, ancient bark of Yggdrasil. The tree is so large that you cannot see where the trunk ends and the sky begins. You can only feel its life, a slow, rhythmic vibration that travels from the deepest roots, up through the wood, and into the very tips of the furthest leaves. It is a heartbeat that spans eons, a slow emerald pulse. As you rest against the tree, the memories of the worlds begin to drift past you like autumn leaves caught in a slow-moving stream. You don't need to reach for them. You don't need to name them. You only need to watch as the colors and the shadows move through the silver mist of the beginning. There is the memory of Asgard, a glint of gold caught in the corner of your eye. It is the light of a sun that never sets, hitting the high spires of a palace that was built before the concept of time existed. It is a warm, honey-colored light that smells of aged oak and beeswax. You can see the great halls fading into the twilight, their shadows long and blue. The voices of the gods are no more than a distant hum, the sound of bees in a summer garden. Everything is settled there. The golden game pieces are at rest on the table. The gates are closed. The light is soft then. The image shifts, and you are drifting over the emerald forests of Vanna. The air here is heavy and sweet, with the scent of blooming flowers and damp earth. You can hear the sound of a slow-moving river, its water curling around smooth, mossy stones. It is a world of growth and healing, where every leaf is a lung breathing for the cosmos. The spirit of the wind moves through the branches with a sound like a long, contented sigh. It is the color of a deep forest at dusk greens, so dark they are almost black, punctuated by the silver shimmer of a hidden pond further down. The light changes to a pale, translucent white. This is the memory of Alfheim. It is like looking through a thin sheet of ice, or a veil of silk. The elves move through the air like sparks of light, leaving behind a trail of peace that settles over your mind like a fine dust. There is no gravity here. There is no weight. You are floating in a sea of luminous mist, where the only task is to be still and let the light pass through you. Now, the world of Midgard rises to meet you, the middle ground, the heart of the human story. You can smell the wood smoke from 100 hearth fires, a scent that is the very essence of home. You can see the longhouses nestled in the valleys, their sod roofs covered in a soft layer of frost. The fjord is a mirror of dark glass, reflecting the stars that Odin placed in the sky so long ago. You remember the feeling of the hammer's distant rumble, Thor's reassurance that the world is being watched over. It is a sound that grounds you, a low vibration that tells the earth it is safe to rest. The rain has finished falling, and the world is dripping, clean and new, under the watchful gaze of the protector. The red beard of the storm has faded into the indigo of the night, leaving behind a silence that is full and satisfied. And then, the shadows deepen, and you find yourself in the cool, silent caverns of the dwarves. The air smells of iron and stone. You can hear the rhythmic, muffled echo of a hammer against a distant anvil, a sound that is as steady as your own breathing. It is a world of focus and patience, where the treasures of the earth are shaped with a love that takes centuries to express. You are safe in the belly of the mountain, surrounded by walls of solid rock that have never known the wind. You are anchored. You are heavy. You are still. The images continue to drift, moving toward the edges of the universe. You see the great, blue-white glaciers of Jotunheim, standing like frozen giants against a sky of charcoal. The ice groans with a slow, ancient wisdom, shifting its weight as the eons pass. It is a world of scale and endurance, a reminder that the universe is vast and that the mountains will always be there to hold up the sky. You see the flickering sparks of Muspelheim, dancing in the dark like golden embers. They bring a warmth that reaches deep into your spirit, a glow that promises that the fire of life will never truly go out. And across the void, you see the silver mist of Niflheim, the breath of the beginning, cool and refreshing against your skin. The two worlds are in perfect balance, leaning toward each other in the center of your mind. The Norns are there too, sitting by the well at the foot of the tree. You can hear the rhythmic splash of the water as they tend to the roots. You can hear the soft rustle of the threads as they weave the tapestry of all things. Your own thread is there, silver and strong, being handled with a gentleness that is beyond words. The pattern is complete. The weaving is done for the night. The sisters are leaning back, their eyes closing as they listen to the heartbeat of the tree. Finally, you reach the quietest place of all, the realm of the goddess Hel. It is a world of gray meadows and still waters, where the mist is as soft as velvet. The road is finished. The bridge has been crossed. You are lying in the high-pillared hall of the goddess, wrapped in blankets that smell of lavender and old memories. Hel is there, her face a mask of perfect, dual peace. She looks upon you with a kindness that is older than the gods. She places a cool hand on your forehead, and in that touch, the last of the world's noise fades away. The stories of the heroes, the changes of the traveler, the growth of the seasons, they all dissolve into a single, unified stillness. You are back in the game, but it is no longer a yawning void. It is a cradle. It is the space before the first word and after the last breath. It is the silence that holds everything together. The great world tree, Yggdrasil, is swaying very, very slowly. Its branches are heavy with the dreams of the 9 worlds. The sap moves through its veins with the slowness of the stars. You are a part of the tree. You are a part of the wood and the leaf and the deep, dark root. The light is gone. The shadows are gone. There is only the breath. The fire has found its ice. The ice has found its warmth. The universe has found its center. The mists are closing in, thick and white and kind. They are hiding the halls and the mountains and the rivers. They are leaving you alone in the silence of the beginning. Everything is steady. Everything is whole. Everything is still. The heartbeat of the tree is the only thing left. A slow, emerald pulse. And then, even that fades into the great, quiet, rest, stillness, silence.